FC25 Realism sliders following title updates 7 and 8. It's been a minute. It's been a while. It's actually been quite a long time since we've had one of these slider update videos, and I have addressed that in one of the community posts a few days ago. I still appreciate your guys' patience with me during this time, but we're here. Title updates 7 and 8 have been put together, bringing you guys these sliders because there was actually only a few days between the two title updates. I started working on sliders for title update 7, then boom, title update 8 comes out just a few days later. So it's taken a while, but we are finally here. Once again, thank you guys for your patience during this time. Now the gameplay on here is following title update 8, and the sliders that are being applied and the gameplay is following that as well. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this video and you enjoy the sliders as well. If you do, please drop a like on it and subscribe as well. I'd greatly appreciate that. Now, first things first, the half length is 6 minutes. If you guys have seen my videos before, you know by now I play on 6-minute halves. If you guys haven't, the sliders, the gameplay, the way it's been set up works best between, I'd say, 5 to 10 minute halves. Within that range, you should be good. If you're out of that range, try it out yourself. And I'd say longer than 10 minutes, it could still work. Anything shorter than 5, that's not really going to work. If you're playing on 4 or 3-minute halves, you want the quick gameplay, this is not quick. This is slow work. This requires more patience. This requires more build-up. This requires more of a methodical approach. Thus, it being more realistic and more time being needed to put your attacks together and strategize how you're going to try to outscore your opponent. So that's the range I'd suggest. Difficulty you see on right now is legendary. Once again, I think these sliders and gameplay work best between professional all the way up to ultimate. Anything less than professional, I haven't even tested, so I do not know. You guys would have to let me know yourselves. But yeah, between professional and ultimate. I just wanted to clarify that off in the beginning because I get quite a lot of questions in the comments regarding that. Now, slider time, of course, the gameplay tab is going to be custom because we're setting up our own sliders. By the way, I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you think of the preset sliders, the preset simulation sliders that EA have provided. I tried them once and I wasn't really too impressed. Well, that's why we're all here. Okay, wind effects are going to be medium. We have weather effects on, and now let's get into the actual sliders. Sprint speed as on 33 for both the user and the CPU. We have the acceleration lowered down to 49. User and CPU, those two have remained quite consistent throughout all of FC25, and I'm happy that with every update they haven't made the game too much quicker or too much slower, just slight modifications, so those remain relatively similar. Following that, we have shot error that's on 59 for the user and on 57 for the CPU. So the user is going to have more error in their shooting than the CPU. The same principle applies to the pass error as well, where the user has a 72 pass error, whereas the CPU only has a 70 pass error. So once again, it'll be more difficult to pass as the user than the CPU. And this is what we're trying to do, trying to make the game difficult while keeping it realistic. And I personally believe that's the most difficult thing for EA to do, and that's one thing they failed at consistently, is to try to make the game more difficult for the user. But most times as they do that, they sacrifice realism. So these sliders help in that regard. Then we have the shot speed. That's the exact same for both. It's lowered down to 45. And then the pass speed is a rare instance where the user actually has the advantage. The user's pass speed is 44, whereas the CPU's pass speed is 40. So the passing for the CPU will be a bit slower, again simulating that realism. Injury frequency is on 75 for both, and then injury severity has actually been increased up to 35, was previously on 33. But although I'm getting enough injuries, not too many, I'm happy with the amount of injuries. That's why the frequency has stayed the same. I think most of the injuries are just 3 days, 5 days. I need a few more long-term injuries, not ACLs all the time, not broken toes all the time. You're gonna get a few of those. Those are pretty common, but I need a few more long-term injuries, maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks here and there, you know, for a player to miss like 2 or 3 games. And this is all within career mode, of course. So we've increased that just so slightly up to 35. Ball capability is the same for both. It's on 59. I believe that one has stayed the same. We have marking on 54. This is one of the lowest points where I've had marking, 54. We normally have it quite high, but yeah, the CPU mark quite tightly, and so do the CPU controlled user players, like the computer controlled players that play on your side. They also mark quite tightly, so 54 is just fine. We have run frequency on 32 as well for both the user and the CPU. I've been playing around with line height, length, and width for a bit, but we settled on 62 for the height. We have the line length on 40, and then I have the line width on 49. So just one under 50 just to make it a bit more compact between the defenders. We then have the fullback positioning on 70. I think that has also been lowered. It was on 75, now down to 70 just to basically be in line with the height, length, and width. Here's the thing. Don't change this set, right? The line, height, length, width, and the fullback positioning all go together. So use them in this set or create a completely different set if you don't like this one, because if you change a few things, then it's going to mess up the whole balance. Trust me. The power bar for the user is actually lowered down to 40. I think this is only the second time ever where I have moved it from 50. I think we've kept it on 40 since the previous set of sliders. It just helps with the reduced shot speed and the reduced pass speed, so it doesn't feel awkward for you when pressing the actual button on the controller. But yeah, it's down to 40. Then we have the first touch control error for the user on 12. And then we have it for the CPU on 72. So significantly higher than the user. But that balances things out, because this is where people feel cheated or the game is scripted when you go in for a tackle and the ball double ricochets and the CPU still have it, especially when they're attacking your box. How many times does it happen that you try to tackle with your defender, the ball ricochets, and then they somehow find themselves one-on-one? This helps with that. This helps with you winning tackles you should win. You don't win every tackle. Trust me, you don't win every tackle, but you win those that you should win. When you go in clean with a tackle, you're going to have the advantage more times than not. And similarly with the CPU as well. So that's that for the simulation settings, but moving over to the CPU sliders, again, I have stuck with tactical for quite a while. This again is the balance between dynamic and you creating your own custom sliders. It brings in a level of unpredictability, but not too much. Not as dynamic does. Dynamic brings unrealistic unpredictability, whereas tactical is within the tactics of the team. It's a bit more predictable than dynamic, but it is more difficult than custom. I do have a set of custom sliders I have made that are even more realistic, but once again, that's where you sacrifice difficulty. And that slider set is from the very first title update, so you can go back all the way. It's in the description box. You can click on that video and just fast forward to this section of the video and then check out what CPU sliders I use there. But I personally use tactical right now. And now finally, equally as important, the game settings. Game settings tie in together with the sliders. I always emphasize this, but I cannot emphasize it enough. You guys have no idea how many times people apply the sliders, the simulation settings, the CPU sliders, but then they come back to me and they're like, hey, the gameplay is not the same. Why is my game not playing like yours? Why are certain things not happening like how I'm seeing them in the gameplay that's playing on screen? That is most likely because you have not stayed until this section of the video to see the game settings as well. These game settings are very important. Apply them as well. Now, there are some that are optional. Stuff such as how you want to switch, or if you want to use certain settings such as like the agile dribbling or whatever, that's a bit more optional. Stuff such as the marking, if you want to go assisted instead of manual, then that's up to you, because maybe you're struggling too much with manual, but I prefer manual because it provides a challenge. It simulates that situation where when you're up against one-on-one with the defender, you have to jockey them and you have to pay attention to every bit of movement they do. And it also allows the CPU to beat your players a bit better. You're going to see it in the gameplay, right? I'm sure you've seen it already. It happened, me struggling to jockey certain players, I like manual through passing as opposed to semi-assisted ground passing, because through passes for me should be more difficult. It should be more difficult to split a defense than just to do a normal ground pass. So that's my thinking behind all of these settings. Apply them, try them out, then adjust from there to suit your needs. Don't just completely skip them out. Try them and then adjust accordingly so that you enjoy the game and it suits your needs as well. So there are the sliders and there are the settings. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, what you guys are struggling with, if you guys need me to adjust any certain things, what you guys think, what you have adjusted as well to fit your preferences, what I should maybe consider and stuff like that. Personally, I'm really enjoying the game. I've played it quite a bit over the last week or so to come up with the sliders and a bit off camera to just get a feel of the game again, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if it's because I haven't played it in about a month or two, or the gameplay is actually good, but either way, I'm enjoying it, and I'll definitely be creating more content moving forward. Career mode will coming back once again, and it's going to be super unique, and it's going to be very intricate in what I'm planning on doing. So I hope you guys do stay tuned for that and check out the other content on the channel as well. Please drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed, and please subscribe as well. I'd greatly appreciate that. I've been Cookie Crusher, and I'll see you guys next time.